I was not obsessed with gear, but every time a new camera came out, I had to have it. And then I would switch systems. Gear obsession. We've all been there. I would have gotten the shot if I only had the autofocus of the newest camera. If I only had a wide-angle lens, maybe I would have gotten a better shot, a better composition. I would get out and shoot more at night if I just had the gear that could shoot better at night with faster apertures. My lens isn't fast enough. APS-C, you can't shoot professionally using APS-C, or can you?
I'm changing who I am, I'm making
Gear and our obsession over it. Gear obsession is a common trap for photographers. We chase the latest and greatest camera systems and lenses thinking that they're going to elevate our work. But the honest truth is, all modern cameras these days are capable of taking excellent images. This epiphany, if you will, came to me when I was doing my last comparison video comparing the Nikon ZF against the Fujifilm X100 Mark VI. Not only is the X100 Mark VI a APS-C body, but it's also a compact fixed lens system that's so much smaller than the Nikon ZF. But at the end of the day, when I got home and I got into Lightroom and I applied my presets to both images using the standard profiles of each camera, the images were very close. They were very, very similar. The file sizes were very similar. Everything about it was very similar. And I just came to the realization that maybe it's not this big disparity between APS-C and full frame. Maybe there's not a huge disparity between 26 megapixels and 40 megapixels. Now, I'm not trying to bash on the Nikon ZF. I absolutely love the Nikon ZF, but hear me out. Hear me out. You see, last year, I had the perfect setup. I had a Fujifilm X-H2, an X-T5, 90mm f2, 16 to 55, 33 f1.4. Let's just put it this way. I had a great setup for wedding photography, videography, you name it. I was ready to go. But I was just chasing something that you can't get with gear, and that was better images. So I got onto YouTube, started doing my research, started trying to figure out what's the next camera that I need that's going to really take my work to the next level. And I sold everything, and I went to the Nikon system with the Z8, camera of the year for that matter. Nikon glass is top quality. There's no compromises with that camera. It's an amazing camera, except for weight. At the end of the day, I was happy, very happy with the camera system. There was no issues with it. But you see, the point I'm trying to make is I had the perfect setup before. I didn't need to do any of that. I just need to get better at composing. When it comes to my video work, I needed to get better at setting up the camera properly for good audio and good video. It had nothing to do with the technical specifications of my Fujifilm or Nikon setup. But we often, as photographers, we often blame them for our work. And I have fallen victim to this too, and thinking that next piece of gear is going to be the thing that takes my work to the next level. And this is after seeing folks like Roman Fox, a fantastic street photographer that uses Fujifilm, and John Branch, who's a fantastic YouTuber, does wedding photography, who uses Fujifilm. See them be very successful in these systems. I still thought I had to change. I was trapped. I had to get out of that APS-C sensor size. Why do I have to learn the hard way? So, as much as I love my Nikon gear, it's the reasoning that I used to purchase it. But at the end of the day, moving to the full frame Nikon system is not what's going to make my images better. I've proven it through doing various tests that the image looks pretty close. So does it justify the thousands of dollars I spent to change systems? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. And it's not just the lenses and the camera. You got to think about batteries. Oh, I need an external monitor because there's no flippy screen on the Z8. And you go down these rabbit holes when you change systems. Accessories, flashes, cages, batteries, you name it. I know people love seeing comparison videos and they love getting behind the thing that they purchased and getting on social media and really just talking about either how much they love it to other brands in the chats, or how much they hate it in like a Nikon group. I'm in a Nikon group where people bash on Nikon all the time, but at the end of the day, none of these brands care. They don't care about you. They care about their stockholders. They care about selling product. It's marketing, guys. It's marketing. And I've fallen victim to this too, time and time again. And I've finally come to the realization that I'm not going to do it anymore. It's taken years to get here. And I've gone back and forth throughout all the systems to do it. Now I'm not saying that every camera is created equally. I'm not saying that. I'm saying, there are certain cameras that are better at certain things. You see sports photographers mostly use Canon and Sony because of the superior autofocus and the readout and the shooting speeds. Most wildlife photographers use Nikon because of the great glass, the great zooms, and the high resolution sensors. And a lot of videographers use Fuji or Panasonic because they have very good video codecs, very good record speeds, they don't overheat, so on and so forth. And me getting into YouTube and getting into videography has actually led me back to Fuji, which is why I'm using this X-H2 today. It just has better options for codecs and whatnot than the ZF does. But I say all this to say that the only way to get better is to do it. Is to train your muscle like you're training in a gym. When you go out there and you shoot and you shoot and you shoot and you shoot, you find what works, you find what doesn't work, you fine-tune your settings, you fine-tune your muscle memory, and you're able to get out there and shoot with any tool, because a camera is a tool, with any tool, because it's your eye, it's your composition. And I've said this many, many times before, despite all my obsession over gear. Now, am I still going to buy new gear? Absolutely. I'm not going to stop buying gear, but I'm going to be more thoughtful about my approach going forward. I'm going to make sure it fills a need. So, for example, I love street photography. I bought the X100 Mark VI because it's the best tool in the smallest form factor for me to do street photography. I'm getting more into vlogging and more into shooting YouTube videos, and I needed something for when I travel. That's what led me to pick up this DJI Osmo Pocket 3. And now getting in more into YouTube video and actually starting to work on shooting a music video, I wanted something that I could put on my Weevil 3 gimbal that would balance easily and that shot great video footage, and that's this Fujifilm X-H2. The ZF is actually very, very dense and small, and it's very hard to balance on a gimbal. It's very hard. The gimbal actually struggles at times because the balance is always off just a little bit. The Z8 I can balance on the gimbal. However, it's very heavy, and once you start to load it up with an external monitor, which you need because of the lack of an articulating screen and mics and whatnot, it starts to become very heavy and almost too heavy for the gimbal. And that brings me back to this X-H2. That's why I purchased it. I purchased it because I need something to shot good 4K video, good codecs, good resolution, that also had unlimited record times, and that had good frames per second. This does 4K 60 with a slight crop, but I'm going to mostly be shooting in 24 like I am today, and then it does HD 120 and 240, which I'm going to experiment with. And it has 7 custom settings on top, and that's the biggest thing. The Z8 lacked the custom settings. It didn't have that, and I needed that. I need that for the video work. I need to be able to switch quickly between 24 and 60p so that I can do my slow-mo and my talking head footage. And the Z8 just didn't have that. I had these stupid banks that I'm not a fan of. The Z6 too did have those, but the video recording just was okay. The ZF had no custom settings, but it was a street photography camera. But I kept buying cameras to fill certain needs instead of trying to find one camera that filled all my needs. And that brought me back to the Fujifilm X-H2. It does, it fills all my needs. Now I can shoot music videos, I can shoot regular videos, I can shoot YouTube videos, I can use it for street photography, I can use it for pretty much any of my needs. One camera, multiple lenses. I have the 18mm, the 56mm, the 35mm, and I'm gonna start with those, and then we'll go from there. I'm not a big fan of zooms, so I'm gonna try to stay away from them because I never use them even when I buy them. Even though as much as I love that 24-120, and I'll be honest with you, like I told you before, they're all good at taking great images. I highly recommend most of the major brands on the market today. The Sony A7, the latest A7, great. The Canon R5, R3, great. The Nikon Z8, ZF, great. They're all great. The Fuji X-T5, X-H2, X-H2S, great. The S5 II from Panasonic, great. They're all great. You need to find out what you want to do with photography. Once you find out what you want to do from photography, build a system around that, not buy a system that does one thing that you want to do. You also need to pick a brand that you're drawn to, that has the features, the ergonomics, the size, the weight, that will get the most out of the photography that you want to do. Not that some reviewer wants to do, not that I want to do, not that any of the reviewers you're watching want to do, because at the end of the day, they might not have the same use cases as you. And this took half a decade for me to figure out. So that brings me back to one message that I want you to take from all of this. Don't listen to me, don't listen to anyone else, don't listen to any other reviewers. Don't get what they are telling you to get. Watch a bunch of reviews, learn about the cameras, learn what they're good at, and then pick the one that resonates with you. All we can do is tell you how we feel about the camera, the things we like and don't like, and it's up to you to make the decision. I wish I had listened to this advice years ago. I wish I had comprehended this advice years ago. But I think we all have to go through our own journey and our own path to get to this realization. What I can tell you from all of that is I've used almost every system on the market, and they're all great. You got to find the one that resonates with you. So for me, that's a camera system that'll be good for YouTube and also good for travel and street photography. Those are the things I love doing. After many and many, many portrait and wedding shoots, I've decided that I'm no longer going to do those on a regular basis. I'm an introvert. I really don't enjoy being in large crowds or interacting with a ton of people, and those type of things exhaust me. I much prefer street photography, documentary style photography, and videography. And I'm going to focus on those going forward because that's what I love. I don't want to make a business out of doing something I don't love. I've already done that once before, and I'm not going to do it again. All right, guys, I'm going to leave it right here. I can hear my fiance just open the garage. There it is on the phone. It's time to go to happy hour. I'm sure this video is not going to be as popular as some of my other review videos are going to be, but it's just the message I wanted you all to hear, because I am going to do more reviews and I am going to buy more gear, but I want you to understand that I'm doing this for you guys. Don't do this. All right, that's it for me. I'm out of here, guys. Let's hope this Fuji that I just set up recorded properly so I don't have to do this all over again. Until next time, I'm out of here. Peace. Let's get started. Let's get it started, yeah. All right, I got curtains behind me now that are sound dampening, so hopefully it cuts down the echo. And also it cuts down on the weird lighting and just looks better as a background other than blinds. So with that, let's get started on today's video. I am filming on the X-H2 from Fujifilm, and I'm using the 56mm f1.2. I just picked up this lens, mainly for portraits, but let's see how it does in video.